Hey guys, welcome back. It's Sean with Modern Country Living. Got a great middle of March northwestern Pennsylvania day here. We're in this time when the weather oscillates between, going up to 65, down to 22 and up, and we're on the upswing. I just love it when it gets like this. I was actually on my way home from work and drove by a farm. They have a sugar shack. You've never heard of a sugar shack? It's where they're taking maple sap and boiling it down to make maple syrup. And I saw they were all fired up. And so it's that time of year. Spring's coming. I can smell it. And it gets me fired up. Want to do some things outdoors. Want to trim the trees, trim the fruit trees, get the tractor ready to get out in the field, make some food plots with the rototiller. Just so many different things I want to do. All in good time, right? All in good time. Today I want to talk a little bit about why blue, right? You look behind me, you can see my house. It's blue. You can see my garage. It's blue. And here, let's look around behind me over there. That building's blue as well. But that's not really what I'm getting at right now. I do like the color blue, that's for sure. I wouldn't make everything blue if I didn't. I'm a Penn Stater, so got some blue and white. If you're an Ohio State fan, you know who you are. I appreciate you and I love you too. But there is a little bit of homage to the Penn State blue and white. I did give them a fair amount of money to get my degree. My wife did as well. So hey, let's honor that. I think God, look up in the sky. What color is that? Blue and white. I know who he's rooting for, okay? But at any rate, I'm talking today about my tractor. And some people might ask, well, why did you pick New Holland, right? What was up with that? Okay, so we're in my garage, which, winter, I gotta get in here and actually do some cleanup. Look at this. I just got stuff all over the place, and that is not making me happy. We gotta work on that. Let's get over here and take a look at this thing. All right, so why did I go with New Holland Tractor? So if you scroll back in my timeline of videos, you'll see where I do some reviews on my very first tractor. In 2004, my wife and I were renovating our home, and my father, who owned a construction firm, he needed his equipment on the job, and I needed something to be able to move things that were heavier than I could pick up. And so I decided we were gonna buy a tractor. We talked about it. I joke that it was her anniversary gift. That's a joke, but we went out and looked around at tractors. And one of the things I did, and I'm kind of an oddball, but I test drove them. I don't know if you can do this or not, but I test drove Kubotas, and I test drove John Deere, and I test drove New Holland. And I really wanted to make sure that I was getting a tractor that fit me and that had good ergonomics for me. They're not cheap. Tractors are not something to give away. Even in 2004, way back when, they were not inexpensive. And so I'm not like a brand loyalist from the sense of I bleed green, I need to have John Deere, or it's got to be a Case or a Massey Ferguson or whatever. I grew up, my father had a Kubota that was just a rock solid machine, and it took a ton of abuse. Had neighbors that had John Deere's and Ford and all that kind of stuff. So I really, was kind of agnostic when it came to the brand. But when I got into New Holland back in 2004, they were doing something pretty unique, and that was they were really focusing on the operator platform and the ergonomics to the user. For me, that meant when I sit on the tractor seat, it was easy to grab the controls, the steering wheel, the power reverser, all the things were within reach, and it just felt comfortable to me. The other thing that was really a selling point was the ergonomics with respect to visibility. Back in the day, the hood of the tractor was fairly squared off. It went straight out and dropped down. You could not see the bucket for loader work, and that was a big reason I was purchasing a tractor, was to do loader work. And so therefore, when I sat on the competitive models from New Holland and John Deere and Kubota, and really from a pricing standpoint, there was no problem for me from a pricing standpoint. The John Deere was the highest cost, but it was, not 40% more. It was like 10% more. So it was competitive, but it was really come down to the ergonomics. So what I did was I got on a couple tractor forums, like Tractor by Net and some others, and I started researching, is there a brand that has better quality, less problems? And here's the truth. I mean, if people that are John Deere enthusiasts think that John Deere tractors don't have problems, all you gotta do is get on the forum, and you'll find that people have issues with mechanical things. To me, it boils down to, do you have a good dealer? Do you have good dealer support? And can you glean the sense of maybe that tractor model for that company is a weak one, right? Does it have a weak point? And when I was looking, first of all, no one had perfect quality. Kubotas have a great reputation being a Japanese company. When you think of Toyota production system, Toyota, the Japanese, that was a really rock solid tractor for my dad for a lot of years. But they all had their issues. And this T4, when I first purchased, I bought a TN75. And so when I got in the tractor, it had an open cab, open platform. It was not a cab tractor. I could actually see the bucket, so if I was running the plow, I could actually see the plow. I could see when I was connecting the loader to the implement, because they sloped that hood and they really did a fantastic job of taking the loader and arcing the loader so that you could see around the tractor and have just better, I'll call it situational awareness. You did not have as much obstruction when you were looking out from the cab or from the operator station. So I am not going to sit here and tell you that New Holland makes the world's best tractors, or that John Deere does, or Kubota or whoever. I'll let you guys go do that down in the comments. But I'm telling you that my first tractor, the TN75, was 75 horsepower, and I put over almost 700 hours on it, and I abused that tractor. I mean, my dad, when I was looking, I was looking at a 55 horse model. He's like, "You better get a bigger one. I know you. I know what you did to my Kubota." And so I stepped up to a bigger platform with the TN75. It was a great tractor. The only time I ever had to do anything to it, I serviced it myself, and I abused it, and I broke a couple hydraulic fittings at one point, and I blew a rod cylinder on the bucket curl, and that was totally operator fault. It was not a tractor defect. But back in 2014, I was getting older, and that happens. I don't know if you know that, but life happens. You get older. Feel like I'm 25, but I'm not. And I was out plowing. It was, sub-zero and blowing. And of course, my children were getting older, and they didn't want to sit out there on the tractor and, cook in the sunlight or, be cold outside in the winter. So I started really considering getting a tractor with a cab on it. So again, I went and I looked at John Deere, and I looked at New Holland, and I looked at Mahindra at the time as well. And I looked at Kubota. And what was interesting was that they all started to adopt more ergonomic operator stations. So whether it was an open platform or a cab tractor, you could see where they were putting a lot more attention to placement of things. And they all started to work on sloping the hood so that you can actually see when you're doing a lot of loader work. And so I gave them all another fair shake. And in the end, the New Holland, it just had a great mix of features. When I, plotted out on a spreadsheet, lift capacities and, hydraulic flow capacity. That's something you want to keep in mind if you're running implements. How many gallons per minute of hydraulic flow do you have? When I looked at the transmission type that I wanted, all the things just started to line up, saying I was probably going to get another New Holland. I I enjoyed, you know, sitting in the Kubota tractors and the John Deeres. Mahindra, my father bought a Mahindra at the time, and so he was downsizing to a 65 horse model from 110 horsepower, and nice tractor. You know, you can see some of my videos on it, but the refinement in the New Holland I found to be superior. At startup, just a lot smoother, and I've got, you know, 600 some hours on this tractor, and it's been a very reliable machine. I do everything from brush hogging, a ton of loader work, you know, moving gravel, crush bank, a lot of lawn work with, you know, we're putting, you know, 20 yards of mulch down. And I also have the rototiller for it. I mean, just a lot of different things that I love to do with it. In addition to the fact that I live on a hill, and sometimes I got to go pull vehicles up the hill, or someone's, you know, got something going on. I'm putting this out in the field and pulling them out of the field, right? But yeah, it's been a really reliable tractor for me. So as you can see behind me, you know, the loader is actually arced, and so is the hood. So when you're up in the cab, you have great visibility. New Holland calls this the Deluxe Vision View cab, and you have a ton of glass. You don't have a lot of obstruction. This is a pre-DEF model, diesel exhaust fluid. So it does not have a large exhaust canister system on the other side of the tractor, which if you look at today's tractors, they have that additional after treatment system built into the exhaust. And so therefore the exhaust stack pipe is pretty small. And if you can see right up there, there's actually a panel that you can see through the roof when your loader's at peak lift capacity, at peak height. You can actually see it. So if you're dumping or manipulating something on forks, or as I was building this building a couple of years ago, so you can check out my video on that. When I was lifting the trusses, when we were lifting the 2x12s for the header boards, I was able to actually see way up there, and I wasn't like trying to scoot down and look underneath the cab. So my complaints with the tractor, I've shared in some videos as well, and you can watch those. I've never taken it back to the dealer for service. I take care of that. So one of my complaints is the ease of access for the oil filter, or lack thereof, as I'd like to call it. It is I'll call it PITA, pain in the beep, to get to that filter. I have to pull a panel here. That's not the big deal. The hood opens up, not a big deal. But located behind the loader arm makes it a challenge, but there's also a couple brackets in the way. And the only way I've been able to do it successfully is to pull the fuel filters off. So I tend to change those at the same time and then get to the oil filter. But even then, it's in a tight spot, and that was not a well-engineered thought for the design of this tractor. The hood does lift up on gas struts, and you have easy access to the battery and to the radiators for blowing them out. That is, you know, a maintenance item. You want to clean them out, especially if you're out in tall weeds or in dust. You know, you can get a radiator clogged up, so you want to blow those out. You know, the other aspects of maintenance are fairly straightforward. The hydraulic filters, easy to get at. The transmission filter, all pretty reasonable and not much of a problem. They put a great tire package on this. You know, I like a radial tire. So there are bias ply tires and there are radial tires. The radial tires, to me, give a flatter profile along the face of it, and they also have a better tread depth in general. And I just think they're a better tire. That's just my opinion. They've been holding up well for several hundred hours. I have put some holes in them, you know, especially as I'm backing into something where I'm brush hogging and creating the little cut-off punji sticks, I like to call them. And I've hit the sidewall, you know, and had to have some patching done. But very strong with lift capacity. You know, as you can see, even the panel here, when you're hooking up your implement in the rear to the 3-point hitch, you can see down in the cab. Why don't we go up in there and take a look around? All right, so, you know, door opens on a gas strut, works out well. So there are more complicated tractors that you can buy with more, you know, complicated transmissions. You know, nowadays you get into hydraulic shifting and automatics, but this is a, you know, 3-range, 4-speed transmission. So the ranges are not synchronized. You got to stop, come to a complete stop. And if I could change something about this, it would be to remove the parking brake from the range selector and allow it to be remaining in the range and have an additional separate hand pull parking brake. The transmission synchronized, which means you can actually just clutch and go, right? So clutch, shift, let the clutch out like you're driving a normal automobile with a synchronized standard transmission. For me, this is convenient. It's all right in with arm's reach. You know, whenever I need to get to my controls, when I need to run the reverse, you know, forward, it's all just right there. But it does allow you to manipulate the steering column. So if you're a really big guy and you need to make some extra room to get out of the tractor, you can do that. And then you can pull it down to a very ergonomic location. Or maybe you just like to drive like this. You know, you want it to be more up in your workspace. So there you can see through the Vision View cab. So that panel actually will open up if you wanted air. It is an air-conditioned tractor. And then again, you can see how you can see down to your link arms through this panel. Makes it kind of nice. And if you're not running the air conditioner, you can open this baby up, set these things out, get a lot of airflow. It's got a lot of storage. And one of the things that really, you're gonna laugh, but I wanted a buddy seat. I wanted my children to be able to be out here with me and to learn about driving the tractor. And so it's been a blessing to watch them grow up and be able to appreciate being out here with Dad, you know, out brush hogging or out plowing snow. And it's just, it's really awesome. So look at the view that you get. You can actually see the plow. And when I'm hooking up implements, I can actually see the quick attach plate so that I can make connections to the bucket or the pallet forks or to the snow plow or anything else that I want to put on there. All right, so I'm going to throw some action shots in here so you can see the tractor. I encourage you, I do have a couple playlists, I think, with New Holland on them. You can catch some different action of, you know, plowing or rototilling or out there doing some hay binding last year. I was actually using a disc bind and that was kind of fun. But yeah, explaining, you know, how the tractor works. I've got some videos on that. And again, if you're a New Holland tractor lover, great. If you love your John Deere and they make the world's best tractor, I'm there with you, right? I just love to be in a community of people that have tractors, right? Years ago, right, go way back, when I was a kid, very few people had tractors. You were either a farmer or maybe you had it as a piece of construction equipment. And nowadays, it seems like everybody's getting one, right? I think it's great that we have the capability of doing that, and it helps us do more work and accomplish more things. So with that, I'm gonna go do some work. I appreciate you watching. Thanks, be well. And if you love your John Deere, I'm with you. If you love your Kubota, I'm with you. And if you love your New Holland, I'm with you. Take care. Okay, I wish I could tell you the tractor's doing all the work, but it's sitting there just kind of holding stuff, and we're digging with shovels. Wifey wants these gardens changed around, so I gotta move some rocks and we'll get her done.
Okay.
Daisies blooming, sundress swaying in the breeze. I can't stop staring. You've put a spell on me, and I hope that you never decide to set me free. The way you're moving got me moving my own feet. The greatest feeling that I could ever dare to dream is you forever moving next to me. Let's not waste time, or take this slow. We've got miles behind us, but miles to go. So let's just break this down to the simplest truth. You and I as one will always be better than two. The leaves ain't waiting, their colors changing like the times. And I'm taking, darling, would you be mine? And I hope you know I will love you for the rest of my life. Let's not waste time, or take this slow. You got miles behind us, but miles to go. So let's just break this down to the simplest truth. You and I as one will always be better than two. Let's not waste time, or take this slow. We've got miles behind us, but miles to go. So let's just break this down to the simplest truth. You and I as one will always be better than two. Yeah, you and I as one will always be better than two. Well, I wish love was an easy song to write, 'cause I'd have pages worth of words that were not lies. Your name would be the melody that's on my tongue. Oh, if love was a simple song. There are not words that have been written or been sung that my ears have heard, or I've cheapened with my tongue to hold the weight of this thing that we call love. Oh, love's not a simple song, but my song's for you. Though not pretty or poetic, I hope you know it's true. I'm not perfect in my ways, and I let you down most days. But know it's true that, darling, I love you. And I've got a rhythm and a melody I like, but without you by my side, there's no harmony or rhymes. Just a freight train rolling down the tracks of a lonely night. Oh love, you are worth the fight, because my song's for you. Though not pretty or poetic, well, I hope you know it's true. I'm not perfect in my ways, and I let you down most days. But know it's true that, darling, I love you. My song, it's for you. And although sometimes it's pathetic, I hope you know it's true. I'm not perfect in my ways, and I mess most of my days. But know it's true that, darling, I love